Good morning, students. Good morning to all. So, directly we can go to the subject. So, last day we have studied the scope of economics and the subject matter of economics, right? Have you remember? Okay, good. Okay, even in the scope of economics, we have to study some of the controversy or the debate of the economics. Not the debate of the economics, the concept of economics or the subject matter of economics always throws the light whether it is science or art. So the scope of economics took the controversial or one of the debate that is the economics is an art or a science. Even if it is a science, whether it is a positive science or a normative science. Okay, so we can see about the controversial debate. The scope of economics make us to bring a debate of the result. A result of the debate that is the economics is an art or science. Okay, first we can take what are the reasons are there to take the economics as an art. Okay, what are reasons are there to consider the economics as an art? First, what's the meaning of art? Art is the practical application of knowledge for achieving particular goals. Okay, if you want to achieving particular goals, so you have to apply some of the practical knowledge. Okay, so what are the existing experience or what is the past experience? Okay, by having these two, we will apply some of the practical knowledge for achieving particular goals to attaining the economic activity or some of the goals, right? So in this area we can consider the economics as an art. If you ask how it is mean, for example, in our economics, so many of the economists or some of the policies makers are making a planning. Okay, so the planning commissions now are taking the planning. Okay, some of they are bringing some of the policies, fiscal policies and the monetary policies. Okay, so in this planning or in these monetary policies or the fiscal policies, some of the economists bringing some of the new ideas and new innovations. Okay, how they are bringing the new innovations and new idea means by having the past experience. Okay, there is no scientific analysis. Okay, by having the past experience, he will apply the new ideology to attaining the particular goals. Okay, so like this, the policy making policies are making some of the ideologies are creating the planning. Some of the economists are using the economics as a practical knowledge. Okay, so we can consider the economics as an art when we are applying the practical knowledge for achieving the meaning of the particular goals. And not only that, so the economics provides the guidance to the solution to all economic problems. Okay, so we have faced many problems, we need some of the solutions. Okay, and when we are studying the economics, some of the definitions, some of the ideology, some of the laws and theory, we can get some of the guidance or we can get some of the solution to solve the economic problems made by itself and created by the politicians and in any way. Okay, in whichever way some of the problems arise, so we can get some of the solution to solve this problem. Okay, so how can we solve this problem? Mean by applying the practical knowledge. Okay, so we can consider the economics as an art. And the classical economists, some of the classical economists, A.C. Bigelow, Alfred Marshall and others also regarding economics are considered the economics as an art. Okay, right. Next, why we have to considering the economics as a science? First, what is the science? Science is a systematic study of knowledge. Okay, if you want to study about something, that subjective concept must be have the systematic study of knowledge. Okay, the systematic knowledge will be there. Okay, so what we are studying in the science, we have to study as it is. Okay, suppose if any of the laws or theories are there, we must study that law and theory as it is without any changes. Okay, for the example, the Newton's law is there. Okay, the Newton's law is also one of the science. Okay, so in this Newton's law, there will never change. We have to study what Newton's already told, right? So like that in economics also, we have to study something as it is. And not only that, in science, all the relevant facts are collected, classified and analyzed with its scale of measurement. Okay, so in this science, all its relevant facts are collected, classified and analyzed with its scale of measurement. Okay, by collecting some of the data, so it was classified and analyzed by some of the proper measurement. So here also some of the laws and the theories will be used like a science. Okay, by using some of the proper measurement. Okay, by calculating the population, we have to need some of the data, and the data also classified and analyzed by the proper measurement. Okay, and in this marginal utility, so we will study about later, we will study the later about this marginal utility. And in this marginal utility and the consumer surplus, okay, everything also will be analyzed by the proper measurement scale of measurement. Okay, so in this area we can consider the economics as a science. And another side, the science develops the correlationship between the cause and the effect. Okay, the science developed the correlationship between the cause and the effect. Okay, for example, the cause is in this Newton law, the cause is thrown up the stone to sky. That is the cause. The effect is it will be come down back. Like that, in economics also some of the cause and the effect relationships are there. Some of the correlationships will be there within the cause and the effect. Okay, so for example, the price, the supply of commodity is determined by the price of the commodity. Okay, when the price of the commodity is increased, the supply of the commodity is also will be increased. Okay, normally if the price of the commodity is increasing, mean, so the producer will be increasing the supply of commodities, because that time only he can earning more income, right? So normally on the whenever the price of the commodity is increased, so on the basis of the increasing price, the supply of commodity also will be increased. Okay, here the cost is increasing the price of commodity. Okay, the cost is increasing the price of commodity, the effect is increasing the supply of commodity, right? So we can consider the economics as a science. Okay, not only that, here so many of the laws and the theories in economics is universally accepted. So like that in economics also so many of the laws and theories are universally accepted. Okay, so what are the rules on formulations, and what are the things is used, and what we have accepted in economics, everything also will be there in economics also. So we can consider the economics as a science. Okay, okay, right. Next, another one of the point is, if you are accepting the economics as a science, mean which science? Economics is considered as a positive science or a normative science. So before that, we must know about the meaning of positive science. So positive science deals with what it is. Okay, the positive science always says as it is. So this is also deals how the world work. Okay, how it is created or why it is going on, or what it is, what is the reasons are existing in our normal days, we have to accept like that as it is. Okay, suppose if any of the reasons are there to do something, we have to accept the reason as it is without any change. And the positive science analyze a problem on the basis of facts and examines its causes. Okay, the positive science analyzes a problem on the basis of a facts and examines its causes. For example, at the time of price increase, its causes are analyzed. Okay, suppose in a market the price of a commodity is increased, mean, so the positive science will be analyzed the reasons why the price was increased. Okay, so after the result of the analysis, we have to accept the reasons of increasing the price of commodities without any change. Okay, that is called positive science. Okay, as the natural science are the real. Positive means the real reasons are the real things. What we are going to study, we have to study as it is. Okay, otherwise the positive science will be bringing the real answers or the definitely certainty answers for some problems or some things. Okay, I said, suppose the price of the commodities increased, so the positive science analyzed the reasons for increasing the price of commodities, and we have to accept the reasons without any changes as it is. Okay, next is the normative science. The normative science responds to a question like what ought to be. Okay, normative science responds to a questions like what ought to be, how should be solved, what will happen, whether it is good or bad. Okay, everything will be there. The normative science always deals with what ought to be. And the normative science will not analyze any cause and effect. Okay, the result of the normative science are not based on facts, but on different considerations belonging to the social, cultural, political, religious arms. Okay, so this normative science, the answers will be based on the different consideration of social, cultural, and political, religious realms. Okay, for example, if the price is increased, mean, so normative science will be explain about the problems of increasing the price of increasing price of commodities. Okay, otherwise the normative science will be explain the increasing price of commodity is good or bad. Okay, or how to solve or how to adjust the increasing the price of commodity. Okay, in shortly, if you want to understand the difference between the positive science and the normative science, the positive science is concerned with how and why. How and why mean, so it is the positive science want to analyze the real fact by having the questions how it is made, why the price was increased, like that. Okay, and the normative science with what ought to be. What ought to be means, suppose if the price is increased, mean, so what is the problem or what we can do in these futures, whether it is a good or bad. Okay, so how can we adjust the increasing the price of commodities, like that. Okay, it will give some of the solution to adjusting the problems. Okay, some of the statements are there. When we are studying these statements, we can understand the difference between the positive science and the normative science. Okay, under the positive science, an increase in money supply implies a price rise in an economy. An increase in money supply implies a price rise in an economy. Okay, here the rising price is the effect, but increasing money supply is the cause. Okay, suppose money supply is increased, it will lead the price rise. Okay, the money supply is increased in our nations, it will lead to increasing the price of commodities. Okay, it is the compulsory one. If the price supply is money supply is increased, compulsory the price will be rise. Okay, next, as the irrigation facilities and applications of chemical fertilizers expand, the production of food grains increase. Okay, now if you are applying the good fertilizer, good irrigation facilities and the chemical fertilizers, so the food grains also will be increased. Okay, normally if you apply the more irrigation facilities and the chemical fertilizer, so the production will be increased. Okay, the cause is making the more fertilizers and irrigation facilities. Okay, because of that the production will be increased must. Okay, so in this normative science the two statements are there. Inflation is better than deflation. Okay, the inflation is arised, what will happen? Okay, otherwise we can, so normative science will be dealing about the debate of which one is best, the inflation or deflation. Okay, the inflation is better than deflation. Okay, so the people under the normative science will be accepted with the inflations due to be better than the deflation. Okay, more production of luxury goods is not good for a less developed countries. Okay, so all the nations are want to produce the commodity, luxury commodity only. Okay, but the normative science will be says the productions of luxury goods is not good for a less developed countries. Okay, it will be give some of the moral ideology. Understand? Okay, good. Okay, students, next we will study the basic concept in economics. Okay, some of the basic concepts are there in economics. When we are going to study about different concept of economics, we must know some of the basic concept. Okay, after understood the meaning of the basic concept in this economics stream only, we can understand this different type of the laws and theories. Okay, the economics has some of the basic concept to explain its theories mean. So in economics, so many of the glossary words are different from normal word. Okay, so we must understand the meaning is necessary. First we can study about the goods and services. Some of the basic in this basic concept, so the goods and services, whenever we are going to study, so the on the basis of the goods and services only all the economic activity will be moving on. Okay, so the both goods and services satisfy human wants. Okay, what's the meaning of goods and services? First they leave the services, first we will tell about the goods. What's the meaning of the goods mean? So what are the things are satisfy the human wants, that things is called as a goods. Okay, but in economics that term goods implies the term services also. Okay, the services are there, services mean the transport services, banking services, and some of the what teaching and the education, everything is also one of the services. These services also considered as a goods in economics only. Okay, so what are the things, what are the activities is satisfying the human wants, everything is also called as a goods. Okay, so this goods, it is also called as products and commodities and things. Okay, if you are saying the goods, products and commodities and things, everything also has the same meaning, right? Okay, what some of the characteristics of goods? If you are considering things as a goods or commodities mean, so these things must be having some of the basic characteristics. So one is as material things, they are tangible. Tangible mean when we are touch and we can feel, it is the physical objectives. Okay, so as a material thing, it must be has the characteristics of tangible. We can see and we can touch and we can feel. Okay, when we are touch the pen or ball or any of the desk, so we can feel, so the goods must be as the characteristics of tangible. Okay, next the goods have the physical dimension. Physical dimensions mean the preserved over time, so it's within the particular time or the over a period, so it has some of the what physical dimensions mean, so it has some of the weight or some of the length or physical dimensions. Okay, next exist independently of their owner. Okay, exist independently of their owner mean, so these commodities as the features of transferring from one person to another persons. Okay, and the goods are owned by some persons means some of the goods are held by the single persons or owned by one persons. Okay, and it is transferable mean it can change from one person to another person. Okay, but the last one of the feature is the goods have the value in exchange. Okay, when we are exchanging the value, when we are exchanging the goods must be having the exchange value. Okay, the money value. Next, kinds of goods. Okay, different goods are there, and in these goods also different kinds are there. First one is free and economic goods. Okay, so what are the goods are considered as a free and what are the goods are considered as a economic value? Okay, so whether are you gathering any goods as a free from nature? Yeah, we can say rain and sunshine and the pure air is also gathered from the natural. Okay, there is no need to pay the money for everyone. Okay, so it is the gift of nature or the gift of God. What are the things we are deriving from the natural? It is called free goods. Okay, but normal nowadays we are getting the water with paying the money. Okay, so within this area, so we can consider the water also some of the economic goods. Okay, but on the creations of the God or the world, so the water is a free good. Okay, next economic goods. Economic goods mean what are the goods are used to improving our economic activity or the personal improvement. Okay, or basic necessity of life, everything's called as economic goods. Okay, already we have studied some of the features of goods. Okay, so what are the goods are having some of the features of basic goods are called as economic goods. Okay, the all the food crops and the cloth and the shelter and what are the things we are daily using, that everything's also called as a economic goods. Okay, next public and private goods. You can easily understand when you are reading the heading itself. Public goods mean what are the goods is provided by the government to the public without any differentiation, that is called public goods. Private goods mean so what are the goods are owned and held by the individual people, that is called private goods. Okay, some of the difference are there. Suppose in this public goods a good available to everyone to consume. Okay, public goods is a good available to everyone to consume. So for example the road and the education and what the irrigation facilities and some of the infrastructure is provided by the government. Okay, it is consumed by all the people without any differentiations. Okay, next private goods mean a good consumed by a single person or a household. For example, food or drink or bike car, everything also will be owned by a single man. Okay, and the example for the public goods is the defense and the law enforcement and the police and the road facilities, financial facilities provided by the government, everything is also considered as a public goods. Okay. Next, the consumer goods and the capital goods. What are the goods are considered as the consumer goods and the capital goods? The consumer goods directly satisfy the human wants. Okay, the consumer goods directly satisfy the human wants for food, TV, furniture, automobile, bike, clothes, and whatever we are want to consuming, we can use that commodities as directly, and the goods also will be satisfying directly the consumer. That called consumer goods. Okay. Next, the capital goods. The capital goods don't directly satisfy the consumer wants, but the capital goods help to produce some of the consumer goods. Okay, so the producers want to produce some of the consumer goods. For the purpose of producing consumer goods, some of the goods will be helped. Okay, for example, the JCB or the computer and some of the machineries. Okay, without having the machineries, the no producers can produce any of the consumer goods. Okay, for the purpose of producing the consumer goods, what are the goods are needed to create it? That is called capital goods. Okay, for example, machineries, the JCB and all over the machineries, everything is called as a capital goods. Okay, for making the consumer goods, what are the goods are going to needed? It is called capital goods. Okay, so next one is perishable goods and durable goods. Perishable goods and durable goods. The perishable goods are short lived, their lifespan is very limited. Okay, so the perishable goods are short lived, their lifespan is very limited. For example, fish, fruits, flowers, etc. do not have a long life. Okay, so we have to consume within the particular time, within a 1 day, within a 1 hour, within a 1 week. Okay, so this type of the goods are called perishable goods. And next one is durable goods. Durable goods and semi-durable goods have a little longer lifetime than the perishable goods. For example, TV, fridge, washing machine, table, chair, desk, cycle, and all the consumer goods or the electronic goods and the furniture goods is called as a durable goods. Okay, what are the goods have some more lifespan? It is called durable goods. Okay, so the minimum lifespan may be the 5 years or 1 year or 10 years. Okay, this is called durable goods. Okay student, I think it's enough. So tomorrow we will study the remaining portions. Okay, thank you. If you have any doubt, please ask me.